Welcome to India, Vivek.
Thank
It's
you.
been a bit long, I think, that we will met, but I keep reading what you say, I keep hearing what you say, and I heard your speech at the seminar here 2 days back. Very appropriate and very appropriate to the times we are in. The problem the world is facing, the problem of not just oil, but terror and the kind of new kind of aggressive thinking which many states are following now, rather than peace, is about fight, occupying territory. Well, US itself has done that, and other countries probably also have designs on this or that neighbor or that neighbor. We can see that in the Gulf on oil. The I like your opinion. First of all, well, you are no less than you are a military mind. I know that you are a military engineer. You are military talent, but military talent works also for strategy and in strategic perspective. So, on the strategic side, what do you think is happening and what is the solution? And after this, I'm going to ask you about what are the military solutions for various countries to defend themselves. I'm not talking about aggression, but let's say countries need technology. India needs this. And I come to that later. But first, your opinion and your, not opinion, but your observation on how to bring peace in the world. I hope President Trump consults you.
Well, thank you for the question, Gulshan. Great to see you after quite some time. I think what is very important is to identify the stakeholder buckets as we look at country to country interaction. There is the political spectrum in the countries, there's the bureaucratic spectrum, there's the media, which is a very important component. There is also the industry and the academia, and of course the end users, the military. And all these stakeholder buckets have to interact in a certain rhythm to ensure that the technical capabilities, as we talk about, are not only present but are being routinely updated, because the technology doesn't stand still. In fact, if you stand still, you're moving back. So you have to keep running forward in terms of technology capability, but keeping all these stakeholder buckets in mind. And so I think, as you touched on, there are certain areas I think that helps with national security. One, I would say, is persistent surveillance. It's a deterrence by having persistent surveillance, whether in the space, the air, the surface, subsurface. That is very important. And a consequence of persistent surveillance is robust data sharing among allied nations and partner nations. So that is another element that is very critical moving forward.
Secure data.
Secure data sharing. That's right. And so I think these elements are critical pillars to be able to ensure national security and like-minded nations to move forward.
In coming to the why coming, in fact, that's the focus in the world now on strategic culture. How do you counter Iran coming from US perspective, or how do you just simply make sure that the Strait of Hormuz is a safe passage for everyone, as it was before USA attacked Iran? The US attacked Iran not for Strait of Hormuz, it attacked to deny nuclear technology to Iran. That was the issue. Now, Iran has somehow got what is called a opportunity bargain in the country, Islam. So they are taking control of Hormuz, now which has upset the world, upset all of Iran, neighbor, certainly the oil, and I don't know how US will control it, because there is no alternative government or alternative leadership for Iranians to look at or look for. I think that's a big mistake with USA did, that without creating a parallel government or without helping create a parallel government, it attacked. Nonetheless, or howsoever, how do you think diplomatically and militarily combination, how will US bring peace in that region? Simply ensuring free passage at least for all that.
So I think it comes back to aspects that we just discussed, which is peace through strength, peace through technology, peace through the ability to stay on the cutting edge of technology. There are various areas that are talked about in various conferences, like artificial intelligence, like quantum sensing, like 5G, 6G, etc. Secure data communications, mass in numbers, loitering munitions. These are all elements of what create the right ecosystem for national defense. And I think as I look at the industry, there are the large players, there are medium-sized players, there are the smaller players, and there are the startup community. I think the startup community is an engine for growth in these military industrial ecosystems. We're seeing that, of course, here in India as well, that they have played such a great role in the last few years, and I think that will continue to grow. So I think all these elements have to come together to continue to ensure.
Let's come to India. As you said, the startups are playing a role here, and we need plenty of them actually. There was a time when we had state-run companies which were afflicted by unionism or strikes and so on, and that wasn't something very happy when it comes to strategic production. On terms of technology acquisitions and then maintaining it going forward indigenously, what should Indian companies or Indian government do there?
I think collaboration and partnership is very important for startups. There's kind of a mentor-mentee relationship that many startups have with the larger established companies. That helps to bridge over, things like the valley of death, where a lot of startups have great ideas and they push forward, but then suddenly there is a lull in terms of whether it's financing, whether it is the talent. And so in today's world, one has to tap into the global talent pool and make sure you're on the bleeding edge of technology. And I think a lot of Indian startups, kudos to them, that they have managed to break through those ceilings and been able to, many of them become unicorns. Recently, startups in space have done very well. In artificial intelligence have done very well. In semiconductors have done very well. And so I think there's been an inflection point, and now that's a great growth, not only in India but the US.
In fact, some of the newer companies in India are even supplying whatever equipment they manufacture to the Gulf countries also. Because I learned from a friend in UAE, for instance, that they're buying something from India which probably 15 years ago wasn't made in India at all. But this is a technological thing. Now coming to drones. You have a very high-tech system. I don't know how we just call it a drone, but it's something huge. India is buying, I think, 31 drones, and probably a few more. Now, what about that program? Are we buying more, and how are you going to sustain it, and how is their maintenance support? I'm sure you are helping the Indian system in at least maintenance and probably a little upgradation also.
So we are talking to a lot of Indian companies and exchanging a lot of information in terms of building up an ecosystem for maintenance, repair, and overhaul. I think that's a very key component of any platform that comes to the country, is the maintenance and the repair and so forth. And so we're building an ecosystem for that, for the 31 government-to-government aircraft that have been concluded. And so that the long-term implications of that would be that it can be maintained and controlled within India for the long term. And so that is a very important aspect for any platform that has been built.
Then some of these systems, your General Atomics systems, can they be partly made in India, or some components of them?
Yes, we have already had relationships in India where component manufacturing has begun. And so that will only continue to grow because the indigenization aspects We have already started the ball in motion for doing more.
And what are these companies?
So, for example, we are partnered with Bharat Port on some landing gear struts and other companies for different pieces. So that has all.
And are you going beyond the present generation of your aircraft to a next generation also, which probably there should be looking at, because there has to be technology evolution and then activity.
Absolutely. So, advanced early warning is a capability that's coming to the MQ-9B, and I think there's great interest that has been generated for an unmanned AEW aircraft because that's the need of the hour. And so, I think in the future, platforms like that and other platforms that are in the pipeline will certainly stay ahead of the technology.
Most welcome. It's been a pleasure
Thank you. Thank
to
you.
see you. God bless you.
Thank